I mean, so I'm learning that a strong black woman is not for my money. I'm learning that she is more committed to the relationship and the components that make up a good relationship.
And so in the case of 6-year-old newborn woman, Ralph Angel, I'm saying you are not the father. Hi everyone, welcome to the Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara.
I'm Tiffany.
And of course I'm Ron.
And today,
the only male in the house.
The only guy in the house. The valued male opinion of the show.
There you go. That's what I like to hear.
Even though we don't always agree.
That's true.
But today we are going to be talking about Insecure. So hang tight and we'll be right back with you.
Wanna show you how I'm nothing like him. Swear that's the truth. You can't trust that
All right, so we're back, and today, like I said, we're talking about Insecure. There have been 5 episodes so far, and they all have kind of like these titles of with something with a like in it. And so this one is titled Highlight. This is episode 5 that we're discussing. And it was a lot of getting high.
I mean, drugging out between Molly, edibles, wine. I mean, they had it all.
Exactly. I was surprised. I know that the show has received some criticism in the past. So doing a show that was based on being high, and it seemed almost like kind of promoting that lifestyle. I'm surprised they took that risk.
So let me ask, which is worse? Having a show where you're not using condoms, or a show where everybody's drugging out.
Right, and that's kind of what I was referring to, because she has been criticized, especially past seasons, about the lack of condom use, and then now it seems as though she's promoting the drug use, and so it could be seen as irresponsible because a lot of her crowd is probably young and impressionable, and they probably, I mean, if they aren't already doing these things, it's kind of normalizing it.
And I know it's real world. I mean, because I think when we look at the statistics of venereal diseases and HIV, those numbers are actually going up. They may have stabilized some with HIV, but I know with the other venereal diseases, recent study has shown that they have actually increased, and so Insecure seems to do a very vivid job of giving us the look of what real world is.
Yeah.
But y'all kind of raunchy.
It's definitely real world experience. I mean, like we talked about that. I've been to plenty of music festivals, and this is what you see. I mean,
that's
it's real.
what I was telling Ron too. I dabble in entertainment a little bit, so this was more real world to me. While, you know, that may not be my lifestyle, I know that at Coachella and some of the other places, that's how it gets down. So I appreciated a realistic look.
Right.
Not promoting.
Yeah, we're not being the fun police here.
Not condoning, but I appreciated a realistic view of what happens.
Yeah.
And at those music festivals.
And just considering it from Issa's point of view, she's been through a lot. Last season, it kind of left off with her and this major breakup between her and Lawrence. And then this season, she started off, she's been staying with Daniel, and they've been kind of going through this odd period, you know, kind of like, what are we? Are we friends? Are we going to take this further? And it's kind of been like that weird in-between phase. And so I think Issa's just struggling to make her way through life, trying to figure things out. But when she got to that Coachella, she was like, I'm cutting up.
But Issa really needs to grow up. I'm sorry. She needs to grow up. And right now, even Kelly, her girlfriend, has recognized Issa's waywardness, because, you know, we can't, she has a degree.
Yep, she does.
She's not educated. A dummy, but she seems to just be floating along. And I think this is what Kelly hasn't come out and said to her exactly, but she's giving her little hints.
Well, a 430 credit score.
Well, a 430, right. Yeah. A 430.
That's irresponsible.
Well, not only a 430 credit score, but now you're trying to buy a house on a 430 credit score. Come on,
she's trying to get a apartment.
Yeah.
Or rent. I said you can't even rent a piece of candy on a 430 credit score.
Yeah, Issa's right, and it's crazy to me because in the previous episode she kind of was out with Nathan, and she took him to a childhood home of hers, and it looked like she came from a good background, like she had a stable childhood, and it's like sometimes I guess she somewhere along the way she was out on her own and wasn't able to maintain that same lifestyle. And
well, maybe so. I mean, you know, a lot of times folks coming out of college, they don't always have.
You're right.
And then they live in LA.
And that's real.
LA is expensive.
Well, it's
and
like
she went to Stanford, so she has a great education.
Heck of an education, which I don't hesitate to say. I'm trying to understand where she is with her life. But it's like, even in most major cities.
20-somethings. They're 20-something, not quite 30. I think they're like 29, something
that's
like that.
30 to me. I mean,
but still,
but even whether you're 25 or 30, I think that you should have some idea of what it is you want to do.
Oh,
I mean,
but not all 20-somethings have it together at that point.
And that's
but not all 20-somethings graduate from Stanford either.
Right,
so
right.
You know, that education in and of itself is supposed to give you something.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So that's where I draw my, that's where I separate, because I'm trying to understand, just exactly what are you doing, young lady?
Well, sometimes I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just going to mention about how she has met Nathan, and he mentioned that he was from Houston and that the flood kind of forced him to move to LA and just risk it all, kind of like take a risk on himself. And that seemed to have inspired Issa to do the same, because right after he mentioned that she went and quit We Got Y'all, and she's been out here trying to make moves, being the property manager at the building. And
got her own place out of it.
Exactly, getting that discounted rent. I think that was a good move on her behalf to show some responsibility.
Yeah, I felt like it was a new direction, because, everybody needs some type of motivation, and it seemed like she was in a slump, because as the season started, she was sleeping on Daniel's couch, and she didn't know where she was going. She couldn't quite afford to move out, but her taking a property manager job may not be the ideal job or forever job, but she has a discounted apartment that's hers.
Right.
She's not living with anybody else or depending on anyone else. She's doing the Lyft on the side, so she's making that money and stuff. She'll figure it out. But I like the fact that Nathan helps her to, to be free and not overthink things. Because I know, shoot, I could be guilty of that, to overanalyze something and stuff. And he's helping her to just go with it.
Right. And I know that from Lawrence to Daniel and then going to Nathan, like, Issa got the pick of the litter. I'm just telling you, she got some good options out there.
It seems like, that Daniel had finally come around to seeing at least Issa for what she could be to him, and Issa's not really feeling it. She's
He's always been very supportive of her, and she knew that going in. Like, if nothing else, I can have Daniel to fall back on, and that's why she went to his house in the first place. And I kind of felt bad for Daniel in that moment, just because Issa was going back and forth in her feelings, and she wasn't sure. She told him she still had feelings for him, but then she shut him down. And so I'm like, well, don't drag this man through that.
Right, but he also was sleeping with women in front of her and stuff too.
When a man does that, y'all say he's playing her. He's playing her. To me, she was playing Daniel.
No,
my only issue with Issa is that she wasn't upfront with him about her feelings, and she told him, like, it's cool, sleep with whoever you want, but she wasn't really feeling that way.
Right.
And so that's my only issue with her not being upfront about her feelings.
And he took it for face value. Yeah. If that's what she wants, okay, that's what he did. But I think he likes Issa. He wants to be in a relationship with her. But Issa's not feeling that, obviously. And like you said, Issa has a lot of choices now.
Yeah, she do. She got some good ones.
And I'm not sure which one she would actually choose. In my opinion, I think Nathan is good for her, just as you said. He seems to round her off. He rounds off some of those little edges.
I love the spontaneity he brings out her. They going skinny dipping in the pool. And even where they can...
But I'm good. I'm good. But that was the one scene I'm...
Yeah, I mean, that was a little...
I told y'all on other episodes that Ron is thick, so I see why he didn't get that.
I'm not a square peg. I'm trying to say is, you got to understand
not really free,
that, like you going to go break into somebody's
risky.
Go ahead.
I'm a lot freer than you are. There's some things I would do.
There's some things I've done, but we're not even going to get into that right now. See, but I'm not going to go in nobody's backyard swimming and, not knowing whether you're home or what. People get shot like that. And out here, that's not something you're going to do.
Right. Yeah, and I don't know. I just like... Look at
like
you.
that look on your face.
I said
What you got to
okay.
say?
I didn't nothing. I
What
said
have you
okay.
done?
Look, we ain't gonna dig
Nothing
up the skeletons out the closet, right? But yeah, to your point though, I do like the fun side that he brings out of Issa, even to the point where she has started rapping again and rapping to him, and they making up these little freestyles. I'm like, that's cute.
Why Daniel and she and Daniel would have been great together because Daniel got beats.
The music, yes,
got
but
a rap
obviously
thing.
he didn't bring out that side of her to the point where she felt comfortable.
But you know what? The thing was, he shut her down. Like when she tried to give him,
Advice,
constructive criticism about what he did with that guy. When when he was with Khalil and he had that opportunity to meet with Spider and he played his music when he had collaborated.
He played both.
Spider was Khalil's contact.
Yep.
So for him to do that, like he overstepped. And Issa told him that like as a friend, and then he like jabbed Issa.
Who are you to give me career advice?
Yeah, he was like, career advice, you can't even do this. So that kind
he
of
was in his feelings and you know, that was wrong.
And I think that's what I think that's what made Issa step back because it's like, man,
that's what you really think about.
That's what you really think about me. And then if I'm in a relationship with you, as soon as I say something you don't like, you gonna lampoon me.
Yeah,
like
verbal
she
battering.
already was at a low point. Like she's staying on his couch or staying in his house. She couldn't afford to live on her own. And so for somebody to jab you when you're already down, you know.
Yeah, that's the one thing I didn't like about Daniel.
Right, that's the one.
And I think when she met up with the girls in the previous episode, and she told them that she had been staying with him and sleeping in the bed with him, and they were like, "Nope, you need to get up out of there," because I think she was set on staying once he offered her the opportunity to stay longer. But once they told her that, that's when she was kind of like, "Okay, maybe they're right. I need to get out on my own."
Is there any reason she couldn't stay with Molly or Kelly?
Well, she mentioned that on the show because her and Molly, they have been roommates previously and they clashed. And it's not always good to stay with your friends because that will break up a friendship.
Will break up a friendship.
Quick.
You have different habits or whatever and stuff. You want to stay friends. Sometimes it's not best.
Years later and they still arguing about a vase that Issa allegedly broke.
Yeah. And then, I mean, she got Dro coming in and out. Those things and... Yeah.
Real quick though, I want to mention what's up with Miss Trina, the upstairs,
the neighbor.
Oh, with the bed bugs.
She's off the chain.
This girl is.
Every time Issa about to, have her little hot and steamy session, here come Miss Trina knocking on the door, either her son.
What y'all doing? Eating tacos and kissing on the mouth?
I thought that was hilarious.
That was cute.
Oh, that was funny.
Yeah, but that woman's off the chain, and I think that she's going to continue to be a problem for Issa and moving on because I don't think she's going to be in this building management position for too long because she's like, y'all cutting up my groove here.
Exactly.
And then Molly and
Tori. Okay, so professionally, Molly has now moved on to an all-black firm. Last season, we seen her having issues with the white firm and how she was kind of feeling unappreciated, and so she's moved on to be around her people, be amongst her kind, and it seemed like it started off great where she was happy in the position, happy to be around people. She didn't like the fact
they didn't have the
in-house courier.
The courier, they didn't have the
DocuSign.
Yep. So, she was beginning to feel the economic value of being with a white firm versus a black firm, although I think we cannot live on that as a whole.
Right.
I mean, that you will find that in some instances.
That's a generalization.
I think that's a big generalization because I'm all for my black firms. So, but outside of that, then she begins to second guess whether she made a
bad move.
But this thing with wanting to be at the top on day one.
She's just super ambitious and she lets it cloud her. I think she's competitive and she is ambitious. She wants to be at the top, but she lets it cloud her judgment and it affects the way she perceives her value.
And she's kind of
right. She's stepping on you.
That's what I'm saying because it's one thing to want to be on the top. That's cool. I get that. I can get it all the way. But you're putting down other people that's been there.
Yep.
Who know more than you.
That's the fastest way to get up out of there too.
For real. So you're damaging the relationship that you could possibly build to get to the top.
Yep.
By not understanding the value that these people bring or have. And you need to just understand with time and patience, everything happens.
Right. And I think that's what her, she went to the therapist and mentioned that. And I think that's kind of what the therapist was told her. Well, instead of trying to compete with these people, why don't you try to work with them?
Yeah.
And so when she did that, though, she wasn't willing to give up her social life. It's like sometimes the two, your professional life and your social life, can exist at the same time, especially when you're trying to be at the top. Well, you got to put that work in.
Well, you know what happened? She was supposed to be being a team player with the two
girls.
women,
right.
and then she jumped ship because this other guy was more ambitious
right.
and stuff, and so she's so busy trying to compete with him. When he said, "Oh, I can do this," then she said, "Oh, I can do it."
Right.
So.
And then what does she do? She takes whatever that was he was supposed to have been working on that weekend. She takes it, and then we see in the next scene she's working diligently. Then she gets that phone call because she decided not to go, but they convince her to go. She goes, and now...
And then she got high.
Yeah.
Straight up high. I mean...
I'm like, I know they got to be drug testing y'all up in there. Like, I don't know if that's going to come up in a future episode, but I hope she don't lose it all because of that one weekend.
When she gets back, I certainly hope they don't drug test her because she got everything in her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And she was getting ready to send that brief off while she was high. I was like,
oh,
goodness.
And you see the way Issa snatched it up, like, what does this even
I don't know what this means, but I know it's not right.
Right.
Man, they were so funny high.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
They were hilarious.
That's the part when Issa said, you know, it's hot, we're high, and we're all mad at me.
Yep.
Now, I've been high like that once in my life where I was on the floor and I woke up at 8 o'clock in the morning, wherever the hell I was, and I'm telling you, there is no other. That's when I gave it up. I was like, you can't be that high and want to be like this every weekend. Well, when you're so high, you don't even know where you are, and you find yourself on somebody's floor.
That's what I'm saying. When Kelly, she took me out when she got tased. First of all, she started the fight with the chick at Coachella.
That was hilarious.
Getting in the rumble, getting put out of Coachella as Beyonce about to come on. I was like, Kelly, girl, you on your own. I gotta stay in CB.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
because them tickets are not cheap.
But that tased, and dude had it down. She was on the ground. He was still holding
and
that button.
And she peed on her pants. So I'm like, oh my god, that is the definition of a hot mess.
But that's good writing, though. I mean, because I was in stitches.
I was too.
Okay.
Yeah, and then turn around next morning, she don't even remember it as being something that actually happened.
She thought it was a dream.
She said, I thought I was tased. She said,
why do I smell like
fish?
So, yeah, I mean, I love it for the purpose of the show because it's fun and it's funny, but personally, I can't roll with people like that. If I gotta take care of you, you on your own. You gotta be able to hold whatever you doing.
Exactly.
I heard that.
Exactly.
I heard that. And Tiffany, her pregnant self.
So talk about that because we mentioned the drug use, and at first Tiffany was the one to turn down the drugs. She's the bougie one and the one that's so put together on the surface at least. And she ended up doing the weed brownie, the edible, and she also took some a shot of wine. So, I mean, that's something that people were upset about, that she was pregnant and she was indulging in these things.
But she said she felt left out because she feels like now that she's going to have a child, that she's going to be left out of all the fun with Issa.
Right.
Okay, but that's the decision you made. You decided to have a child.
Right.
And you decided to change your life because a child is definitely going to do that. Mm-hmm. Any of us that have had kids understand that life is not going to be the same, mm-hmm. and you can't. There's nothing you can do about that. You can hope to, have moments, but that's going to be a while. That baby is not even born yet, and you dousing yourself with all kinds of drugs and things. Hopefully the baby will be fine. I'm sure the baby will be, but yeah, your life is going to change, Tiffany. So rather than be sorrowful about your past, you need to look more positive towards your future.
Well, I think that's kind of what she was expressing to Issa when they had that heart-to-heart, where she was in the car, and she was kind of saying, we're growing up. I mean, I think to me, she was saying we're growing apart, and Issa was like basically saying, well, we can still be friends, and she's like, well, I hope so. So I think she realizes that they're growing in different directions. She's like more family-oriented.
You can look at her stomach to see that they're growing apart.
Obviously.
Well, plus, she said in some of the episodes that they were having a group chats, and they were leaving her out of the group chats. And because
she is the fun police sometimes.
But she is.
The fun
Right. She's
and,
always been that way.
And
so
Issa said, called her boring. She was like, boring, Tiffany.
Yeah, boring,
right. So I was like, oh boy.
But that's probably one of the reasons she decided to have the child, because she's not quite like them.
Right.
You know,
and she might have been maybe in their earlier days, but now they're still in this phase where they ready to turn up, and she's like, I got responsibilities.
And she seems older than the others too.
I think they all went to school together. I think they all around the same.
I don't know, age. But she seems to, of all the ones that, of all the three, that she seems to have more common sense, if you will.
She's the only one that's married.
I think that she has this air about her where she's like thinks she's a little bit better than them. Yeah,
she is.
So that plays a role in it too.
Mm-hmm. She was at Coachella acting like that too.
Yep.
A little bit,
Yep.
She had that
Friday. She was like, ah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh Lord.
And after Issa had that conversation with her, she walks into the 7-Eleven, and who does she see?
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Now what's up,
Chad
with Chad?
And Lawrence.
What's up with Chad?
Chad is funny.
I mean, you know what? I think deep down inside he wants Issa.
No, he's a hater.
I think he is definitely a hater, but I can't understand where the source of his hate is.
That's my point.
And I'm like, is it because she did Lawrence wrong and that's why he's bitter?
I think
that it's always a friend. I mean, we think about Power, shout out, Ghost and Tommy. Tommy hates Angela. Chad doesn't like Chad doesn't like Issa. I mean, he doesn't like how, because he knows that Lawrence is a good guy. He's a vulnerable, emotional guy, and he feels like Issa screwed Lawrence over. Because even when I don't know if you watched Insecure on demand. When you watch on demand, she has these wind down episodes.
Yeah, I saw that.
And you saw that, and Issa said, she said, look, I love Neil Brown, the actor that plays Chad. Mm-hmm. But she said, when I saw Chad on set, she said, my stomach turned. She said, I can't stand him. So, there is something between...
And I think that's what Ron is saying. Like, is there some tension there? Like a sexual tension? Yeah. Or maybe he has something for her?
Maybe they ought to go get a room.
Yeah, I don't think they like each other like that. I think sometimes you have friends that's like, you can do better than her. Or you can do better than him.
We did that in grade school. It's the same thing in grade school. You pretend to hate the girl that you love, that you like. And you pull her ponytail, you do all sorts of things, but that's the one you really like, So I think he don't think Lauren should be with her, because he probably like, a lot of guys have friends that give them bad advice.
Oh, we've talked about this before.
Bad relationship advice. Oh, and women too.
Definitely.
We do too.
Yeah.
We have some women friends that give us bad advice too, but men more than. That's why I think.
I don't think
this
so.
is why
because
I think men should have female friends. No, because female friends can
give you a different perspective.
Give you a different perspective and give you an outlet.
But the same thing.
But Lawrence got a lot of bad advice.
No, but the same thing. Well, Lawrence got a lot of bad advice because look who he's listening to.
That's what I'm talking about.
But Chad has a motive operandi. I don't know what it is. I can't figure it out, but it's going to come out. It's something that it's something other than the fact that, because as just like in the after show, he says women and your relationships are a little different than ours. Because a guy, we can say, oh, that's my boy, and we may not talk. I may not have seen him in months, but when I see him, we're down. We're dapping. That's my boy. You all take that stuff very seriously, and it seems like your relationships are. Well, they're not seen. Your relationships are 10 times tighter. And when you say this is my girl, she's truly your girl. Because you all have been through thick and thin with one another. Mm-hmm. So we don't necessarily expect the same things from my boy that you all might from
I think
girl.
We internalize a lot. Like,
you do.
The emotional side, like if you my homie, you my dog.
Right.
Like I'm going to war for you.
Right.
But if you on the fence, I'm like, it could go either way.
Right. And I might not like what my boy said, but I get over that. Because, I'm not going to see him next week anyway. Mm-hmm. We're not going to be on the phone until after midnight. So, whatever he says, it's just... And I think that's how Lawrence takes Chad. It's just kind of, water off a duck's back. He says what he has to say, and they just keep it moving.
Right, yeah, for sure. And we talked about this last season when Chad was over there giving Lawrence terrible advice regarding Issa. We've had this conversation before. Go back and watch that episode. But, I'm trying to figure out where this is going to lead Issa, because she's in this new she's pursuing this new relationship. They haven't made it official yet, but, they kind of have been on the road to making it something more. They already got it on in the Ferris wheel.
Yeah, that was kind of hot.
It was hot.
That was hot.
Yeah, so she's really feeling him, like, and he's feeling her too, seemingly.
Yeah.
So, as soon as Issa is happy and she's kind of moved on from both Daniel and Lawrence, here he comes popping back up into the picture.
Okay, let's do some pros and cons. Lawrence, Nathan. What are the pros for Nathan?
Well, Nathan is hella attractive. I mean, good Lord, he's a good looking guy.
He's cute. He gives her the freedom to be her.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. He's allowing her to be herself, be spontaneous. He's bringing out her fun side. He's kind of inspired her to take a risk career-wise, to move on and try something that she will actually be, happy with. Even further than that, I think that he's just like a really good dude for her. Like, their chemistry, they have insane chemistry.
Okay, what are the pros for Lawrence?
History.
They know each other well.
Stability. They were in love. I mean, up until that hiccup. I mean, I know that the biggest issue with them was that she was disappointed because he was underemployed, or he wasn't employed for a while.
He was in a rut for a long time.
But he's not anymore.
Correct.
He was in a different space.
Right.
So.
And he kept trying.
Lawrence is not a bum. So even if she did go back to Lawrence, I don't think it would be it wouldn't be a bad thing.
Let's look at the cons now. What are the cons for Nathan?
Well,
the unknown.
Because I think that Nathan might be a little player on a low.
He could. Somebody said on Twitter, and I don't want to believe that. We'll see. They call him Lift Bay on Twitter. They're like, Lift Bay is probably a felon. And I was like, I don't know if that's true.
Well, don't you know how you meet somebody and on the surface it's like everything is going so well, it's almost too good to be true? That's why I'm like, something's going on something's got to be wrong.
Well, I don't know. It's just, I was talking to you guys offline, and that's always the case. It always happens to me. Like, when I'm booed up or whatever, it seems like people from the past or people you may have wanted to pursue pop up, and that's how I thought about that with Issa and Lawrence. And even Ron and I talked about Love Jones. Yeah. And that's one of my favorite movies. And Nia Long, her character, when she was getting to know Lorenz Tate, up popped her old boo, ex-fiance and stuff, and she had to make a decision. Yeah. And sometimes,
it's hard being in limbo in that position where you have feelings for two people.
Exactly.
Yeah, we live in a world of consequences, and I think that, it just happens. Whether you are religious and say it's the devil or whether it's some sort of karma, I think it happens. Personally, for me, I'd rather leave the past and let it be prologue. I'd rather move forward.
Right, I hear you.
Because for whatever reason, I left you. I
agree.
Okay, I didn't just wake up one morning and look at you and go, "Oh, I'm out of here."
Right.
There's a reason I left.
Right.
And if it's been any length of time, why would I believe any differently that whatever it was that reason would have changed?
Right.
So let's go over the cons
of
with
Lawrence.
Lawrence.
Yeah, and so to your point, I think that the fact that they have history and there's going to be mistrust there. If she goes back into that situation, she's starting off with mistrust. So that's not something that's going to be easy to rebuild. Like, she's going to have to continually keep proving herself. Whereas with Nathan, she already came off clean with him and was like, look, this is what I did in a past relationship. And he was optimistic, like, well, as long as you learn from it and you grow from that situation. And so he's already offering her the greener side of the field. I mean, she goes back to Lawrence and it's going to be a muddy situation.
But I think one of the cons that we didn't talk about Nathan is Nathan didn't really give up his past.
Yeah, he didn't go in detail besides the fact that he had moved from Houston.
So he could be an ex-con. He could be married or
that's what I'm saying. It's something. He could have a million kids. He could be a baby daddy. It could be a lot of stuff.
That reason he said he left Texas, there could be a little more to that.
Right. I think that's going to be revealed too at some point.
So we've done the pros and we've done the cons, and you can of course add your little comments in it as to what you think, pro and con. So with what we said, you believe that Nathan is the way to go.
I am Team Nathan. I know a lot of people are happy. Lawrence Hive is happy to see Lawrence even back on the show. Because for the first 4 episodes, they're like, where's Lawrence? Where's Lawrence? He ain't on the show.
There's one thing else y'all didn't mention.
What?
Women typically like men that have a little height on them.
Yeah,
Lawrence is tall.
Lawrence is tall. And Lawrence is fine.
Yeah, he is.
Lawrence is fine.
See, this is what I was trying to bring out.
Yeah, Lawrence is fine. I ain't mad at Lawrence.
Yeah, Issa might make some bad personal decisions, but her choice in men is top tier.
Listen, I'm telling you, I'm feeling all the men on Insecure. Like Daniel's fine. He's a nice chocolate drop. Lawrence is tall and handsome, and they.
I think they all offer something different because Lawrence has the tall stature and the build, and then Daniel has that kind of like muscular physique, and he's very smooth and charming. And then you go over to Nathan, he's charming too, and he's the pretty boy. Those are the worst ones sometimes.
I know, I don't normally like the pretty boys.
Right, so Issa got some top tier choices.
I didn't see him being a pretty boy. I just think he's a little, little light skin.
He got like green eyes.
That's pretty boy. Yeah, typical.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
like a little
shy of the pretty boy type. I think he, a little. Whatever.
Well, I'm all the way here for Nathan.
Yeah, I want to see what happens. I still like Lawrence too. It was funny on Twitter. This woman posted this video of her husband, and her husband was so excited that Lawrence is back. He was waving this Best Buy shirt. It was hilarious. I said, "Oh my God!"
The Lawrence Hive is in full effect.
Yes, Lawrence Hive is real. They had like 12,000 signatures to get him back on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, even I think it was already planned.
Right, I think they would have known that. Because of his popularity on the show, you can't just write him out.
No.
Wow.
Okay, so there's a lot to talk about. A lot to.
I'm enjoying the season so far. I think that this is the halfway point. We're at episode 5, and so there's 5 more to go. And I think that we're going to see more growth with Issa. I think that she's maturing, even though she's not all the way there yet. She's on the path to making better decisions and becoming more self-sufficient.
So let's try to help somebody out there that's going through Issa, Lawrence, Nathan trip right now. What would you say to them?
I would say be patient with yourself. Allow yourself to grow. Don't make any rash decisions based off your emotions. And if you need to, take a step back from both people, so that you can think clearly and not be clouded by your emotions. So that's my advice.
I think that's good advice, and especially since she just came out of a relationship of 5 years. And I think before you jump back into anything, I think you need to spend time with yourself.
Yep.
Before getting into another relationship.
What about you, Ron?
Let the past be prologue, move forward.
That's good advice.
Yeah, that's good advice too.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for watching our Insecure recap. We're definitely going to continue to recap more episodes throughout the season. And make sure you follow us online. We are on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at The Spot Real Talk. And occasionally we do live shows where we go live and recap that way so that you guys can interact with us in real time. So also let us know if that's something that you would like to see for Insecure. And then, of course, we're going to keep providing more content. So if you have any suggestions for content that you would like to see, shows that you love and want to see recapped by us, please drop it down in the comments and let us know. Do you guys have anything to add before we close out?
I couldn't have said it any better.
Right.
So I'm done.
That's it.
Me too.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for watching. It's been real. Good night.
Good night.